Here is the second part of my Patreon community suggested videos. In the first one, we ground up some pork for this video. If you're interested in checking that one out after watching this one, the link will be in the description below. A bear from Patreon suggested the pork pie recipe, thank you for that, and I thought it'd only be proper to have someone with the correct accent to do the voiceover. With that out of the way, let's begin by introducing Haley, aka Super Meat Girl, to this video. So here you go.
To start this recipe, we need some ground pork and ground smoky bacon. 8 ounces or 225 grams of each to be precise. This is enough pork to fit a 6-inch or 15cm spring-form pan. For our herbs and spices, let's start with some dried thyme leaves. You'll need half a teaspoon along with a 1/4 teaspoon of dried rosemary and a 1/4 teaspoon of cracked black pepper. Get your hands in there to ensure these spices are evenly distributed. If you're curious about the salt, you can add 1.5 teaspoons now, but it will draw out a lot of the water while we let this rest. Save the salt until after we cover in cling wrap and let rest for a minimum of 2 hours and up to overnight. Whilst we're waiting on this to rest, let's make our pastry crust. For this you'll need 3 ounces or 85 grams of ground pork rinds, 3 large eggs. In an attempt to look cool, try to crack the eggs with one hand and obliterate one of them in the process. And finally, 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Please use your favourite pocket knife to measure this. Give the spoon a break this week and whisk it up. This will be a pretty thick dough, so knock it out of the whisk if it clumps up. Okay, we absolutely do not want this pie to stick, so slap down about a tablespoon of butter and spread it all over your springform pan. Next up, we'll want about 60% of our dough. All we need to do here is work it around the sides as well as we can. You're looking for a couple of inches up to the side of the pan. Now grab about 20% more of your dough and spread it across the bottom, ensuring to crimp the inside seam. And once you're satisfied that it's all closed up, take your refrigerated meat and place it into the shell. Spread it out to the edges of your dough. To use up the final 20% of the dough, grab 2 pieces of parchment paper that you've greased up well. Place your dough into the middle of it and press something flat against it to get the beginning shape. Now press out with your hands until your top shell is as wide as the pan. Getting it out of the paper will be slightly difficult, but just do what you can to get it on top. You can always touch up and repatch where needed. As you can see, Reed definitely had to do that. Once you've got it how you like it, take out your favourite pocket knife again and poke a couple of holes into the middle to relieve steam whilst cooking. Place this into an oven that's set to 400 degrees Fahrenheit or 205 degrees Celsius for a total of 20 minutes. After the 20 minutes, reduce the heat to 300 degrees Fahrenheit or 150 degrees Celsius for an additional hour to let the pork cook completely. We still have a few more steps before we can dig in, so don't you go getting too excited. Let this cool off at room temperature before injecting some sort of pork gelatin into the pie. Reed got his from cooking the leftover pork and refrigerating the drippings. You'll need at least 1/4 cup or 60 milliliters. Place this into a fridge and let set for at least 3 hours, but overnight would produce much better results. And here it is. Reed was able to get the texture with a combination of pork rinds and eggs, and this has yet again blown his mind. A hollow thump and a crispy exterior. Cutting into this has left Reed slightly baffled as to where the gelatin might have escaped to. But after taking his first bite, he's realised that it's absorbed into the bottom crust. Don't mind Reed whilst he marvels at this delicious treat that he's only just discovered. And whilst you're ignoring that, why don't you like and subscribe to my lovely and talented friend Reed, the Carnivorous Chef? Frankly, it would be rude not to.